fly off?
No, because I was like, Roger!
We just got back from BHP Fuelfest at Westpoint Exeter, which is my local car show really. Absolutely boiling hot weather. It's like 28 degrees, which over in the UK is like about as hot as it gets. The car managed to survive. The car did have some problems, which I'll get into in a minute, but it didn't stop me from carrying on driving, so that was all right. First of all, just want to thank Miata from Drift Outlaws and all his crew. Runs pretty smooth really. It's nice and relaxed, just a small briefing in the morning. Basically 3 sessions about an hour long. Where I went out, I'd done the first run, which is where I broke the hydro, so I went back to the normal handbrake.
You've bent it.
I pulled it too hard and it's bent right there, look, because it's on this long thing.
Only a couple of spare nuts you could put on that just to stop it from bending more. Well, sandwich a couple of washes in between some nuts or something.
Maybe we'll have to come back to that later. Basically, I burst a cylinder, which I didn't realise. Pulled it, and then when I pulled it again, it then like went further than it should have done because that went right in, and then because of that, it's gone over centre and then it's like bent the rod. So I've got to get another cylinder. I actually have got a spare one. So that was the very first run I'd done. So then I was back to the normal handbrake here, which then second run was fine. Third run then is when the power steering burst. And just as we got to the end of the lap, the steering just went really heavy. I thought I'd bent something, like I'd bent a tie rod or something.
The little fast MX5 again at Dan Collins. Nice runs today.
Bad times.
It's basically done spewing now.
Blew the hose off of the power steering. I then decided that I would wait until we finished the session, get the car out, clean up all the power steering fluid because it can be quite flammable.
Yeah.
It's going to be heavy, I know that.
Interesting. At least you've had a couple of different.
Oh, I thought what was the joke earlier on? If I had 2 or 3 runs, it would have paid for it as much. Nah, there's nothing I can do with that really though. It's just, I'm annoyed about the hydro because that I should have tried that a bit harder.
I reckon we can bodge that though.
What, the hydro?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That can be your task.
Well, alright. No, calm down.
Go, go, go.
So basically it's got really hot and then blown the banjo off. If you have a look in there, I don't know where you can see that. All the fluid squirted out everywhere, and then on top of that you'll see that my air filter was sat on here. It's ripped my turbo, look. I think the power steering fluid, when it flew out, bounced off the top of there and it melted the air filter. So luckily I was at the end of the run and I could just shut it down. I've cut that off then for the rest of the day. I pulled this pipe off, cleaned any of the crap that was in there out. Luckily it was only a few little bits. I ran just with the gauze just for the rest of the day because I didn't want to suck any of that into the turbo really, unfortunately. So yeah, I have to get myself a new air filter. It actually wasn't that bad to drive with without the power steering. It was only difficult when I was slowing down, especially with the handbrake being, having to throw it quite hard to get the handbrake to actually then lock. That's the only time I really noticed it being a bit of a struggle. But once you got momentum or any sort of manual or anything, the steering wheel was centering just as fast as it was without the power steering. So the only run of the day where I'd done it a single run was the very first run of the second session. And then once I realised that the car was fine with just the power steering gone, I decided to just send it then. So
Dan Collins in the MX5 used to have an S-body, he's now kicking the hell out of an MX5, turbo powered, painted it this week especially for the show. Freshly built car, freshly chassis fit, totally new, driving it seriously well. Coming into the roundabout. Nice job, dude. Nice job.
is I actually got it painted glosslet. So I only done it myself. It's just a cellulose paint job. This one was the door where Steve caught me, so there's still some dents in it, but just painted over it, you know, painted the bumper, well, the corner of the bumper there, the boot, all this here, all this side where it was all, if you remember, this was all matte. So yeah, got the stickers on there, Exeter stickers. Basically the car looks loads better. I'm well happy with that. And then the last thing I've done is I sorted the exhaust out. I don't know if you remember me saying, or I don't know if you heard it from the other video, but basically The exhaust was super quiet, like you could hardly even hear the engine. All I could hear was like a bit of a whine. I've now basically just straight piped the back box. Still got a centre silencer.
Sounds like a lot better when you hit limiter now.
Yeah. When someone's drifting next to me, I can still hear the engine. I can hear if it's wheel spinning, so yeah, it's spot on really.
I don't think we've done a run together today, have we? How you doing? Oh, don't be like that. Everyone, have I got that bad a name?
Me and Nick did a couple runs. The only damage I got from the whole day, which I think is very good, considering I've got quite a bad name for bumping into things, even though I'm actually not that bad, is this one scuff here from Ross Horton's car, and also it just cracked my headlight bracket there, but otherwise it pretty much looks fine. All it was, it's the end of the lap, and just as Ross was about to do what they were doing at the end, which is like a roundabout sort of donut, the weld on his hub snapped, so he then overshot, like the wheel obviously just went slack, loose, basically come to a stop, and I just spun with him and just lightly touched the side of his car. It sounded worse in the car than it actually was. It's hardly done anything, it's just scuffed the paint, so that's no problem. I will double check, I will jack the car up and just double check, but it seemed absolutely fine. I carried on after that with no problems. Yeah, did a few runs with Team Ronin drifting guys, which is Kev Zapp with his shiny red 14A. It looks nice, that car. And Paul Seymour in his S13 with a V8 in it. Zoltan, he was there in his BMW, the white BMW, had some crazy red smoked tyres. And quite a few people come and spoke to me. I think the car surprised quite a lot of people. It looks quite standard other than the camera on the front because of the lock kit, which is just my own lock kit. Even with the louder exhaust now, it still isn't crazy loud boosty noises, which that's one of the things. If I get a different air filter, and I'm going to probably try and make a bit of a stainless intake just to try and make it a little bit so you can hear the whistle of the turbo a bit more, because you can hardly really hear its turbo. Just when you let off, you can just sort of hear hardly anything at all. But no, the car is absolutely brilliant. Loads of people ask me, they keep asking me, are you happy that you got rid of the 14 and you got an MX5 and blah blah blah. But actually, this car is like super, I would say it's easier to drive, even though it's like a short wheelbase and people say it's snappier, because my old car was set up so grippy, because I was like, spent a couple of years where I was trying to compete at Drift Cup and stuff. I nearly made the car too grippy really for the amount of horsepower it had. So really, looking back, my old car, I needed even another 100 horsepower probably, so it's like 400 brake or somewhere around there. Or I really probably should have dialed out some of the grip when I was just doing normal car shows and practice days. So, but this car, this MX5 is great. I won't change to another chassis now. This is, you know, parts are easy to get. It's just a reliable, fun little car. Like, I turned the boost up a smidge from when I last drifted, because I did notice it just seemed I was kicking the clutch quite a lot when I was at Zoltan. I think it was peaking about 7 psi. At BHP at the weekend, I think it was peaking at about 9. So a couple psi more, but that's only at the top of the rev range, because it's only on actuator pressure. It only hits that at the very top, so when it's not under as much load. So, yeah, it seems good. Overall, really happy, really good day. And yeah, just look forward to the next one. So yeah, probably next video talking about the twin caliper setup again. I will go through that properly, what I've done. I've actually made a video about what I think about twin caliper and inline hydros and normal handbrakes. I'll put a link up here to it. And then yeah, I'm just gonna hopefully make a video about me, whatever I do with the power steering, whatever I do with the air filter, and then try and get to another drift event, try and test it all, and just yeah, have a bit more fun. But overall, good day, love the car. The tyres working well. I was running the accelerators for all the way until, so I ran the 3 runs I did in the morning. The middle session I ran the whole session on the same set of tyres, and then I only changed halfway through the end of the last session to set of part ones that I had. But yeah, the accelerators, they work great on this car, and they used to work great on my 200. I've heard a few people recently have slated them, but I think they're not running them at the right pressures, or they're not warming them up, or I don't know what they're doing. But this is what the tyres look like. I'm just going to flip them around because I've only got standard suspension on the back at the moment, so they have worn a bit, not 100% square, but that's just because of my car. But they've worn right down to the wear markers without delaminating at all. Like, oh, there's one delamination there, look. But otherwise they wear right down, and they smoke good because they got a good bit of grip. Thanks for watching. Basically, just keep an eye on the channel, and any questions or anything, just write in the comments and I'll reply as best I can. So yeah, until next time.